On day one, the Biden-Harris administration made 3 changes that led to the unprecedented situation we've seen in our country. Day one, they decided no more building the wall, no more remain in Mexico while we evaluate your asylum claim, and once you get here, you will not be detained, you will be released into the country. And as a result of that, 10 million migrants have come into the country, 99 on the terrorist watch list. We've lost track, they've lost track. This is what happens when you have an administration that doesn't care about border security, that prioritizes aliens over Americans and legal immigrants. But unfortunately, we don't. We have a Democrat presidential candidate who for years advocated for open borders. She was appointed the border czar, yet presided over the largest mass illegal immigration in U.S. history. She has called for ICE to be abolished. She has laughed off questions about border security. She has promoted amnesty. She has said that, quote, undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. Thanks to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, we're on track to get to 12 million illegal aliens in the United States in this 4-year administration. 12 million. I always tell folks, 12 million, that's the equivalent of the entire population of our state of Ohio, 7th largest state in the union. And that's not even counting the 1.9 million known gotaways who've evaded Border Patrol or the unknown number of gotaways who've not even been detected. American communities are left to suffer the consequences.
Chairman Jordan and Ranking Member Nadler and distinguished members of the committee, my name is Mike Boudreau. I am the sheriff of Tulare County in California. Tulare County sits in the heart of California, right in the center. We're a very large agricultural community. I have spent 38 years in law enforcement working in the sheriff's office and working with victims throughout my career. I am also an FBI National Academy graduate in Class 251, where I have law enforcement leaders from all over the country and as well all over the world who I have connections with. When it comes to the dangerous and sometimes deadly impacts of what I feel is a failed Biden-Harris administration on open border policies, the impacts of illegal immigration in California, I must say that I have a front row seat. I also served as the California State Sheriff's Association president, where I meet regularly with all other 57 sheriffs. There's 58, me being number 8, in the state of California hearing their stories. There's a few examples that I would like to be able to provide today. We have a long issue of illegal immigration in California. However, over the last 3 years of the Biden-Harris administration, we have a deadly impact of violent criminals coming into our communities. We have migrant communities of farm workers who are now infiltrated and terrorized by those that they had fled other countries from, who are now in our communities terrorizing them, threatening their children to be involved in drug trafficking, gun running, drug dealing, as well as gangs and sexual activity of children. I'm very involved with these migrant communities as the sheriff, and I can tell you the personal stories and impacts are heart-wrenching. Many of these communities have to do what's called paying rent. You must give money to the drug lord or the gang member or the violent criminal of those that you fled if you want to live peacefully within that migrant community. I'm very familiar with Kamala Harris as the Senator and Attorney General in California, and I can tell you that the words that she has often spoken when it comes to defunding the police and ICE kin to the KKK is demoralizing to law enforcement and those trying to protect our country and protect victims here in California and the United States. I have, as the president, walked the border, and over the course of the 38 years as sheriff, I have visited the border many times, and I have many friends in the Border Patrol as well as Homeland Security, and I can tell you that they are frustrated. Thousands of people coming through a day where I visited and I saw people from Yemen, China coming through. In our town, we had a friend of mine, Jody Jones. His brother was shot and killed at an AM/PM mini-mart where an illegal immigrant who had been deported 3 times over found his way back into the United States, attempted a robbery, and shot and killed a man. My deputies got into a pursuit and got into a violent shootout with this man. We have a case where that's called the reign of terror. I can tell you, as the Attorney General, Kamala Harris often lessened the impact of law enforcement with her quotes of defunding the police. I have story after story, but most recently what we're starting to see is an influx of Mandarin, or those from China. We're unraveling a human trafficking case of over 40 women who are involved in sexual prostitution up and down the state of California, who have found their way across the border and are here illegally, and that case is ongoing. We have financial crimes from Mandarin, thieves from China, who are stealing millions of dollars online from our elderly in the Central Valley and up and down the state of California. We had an illegal immigrant, El Mano Negro. He was a hired hand by the cartel, where we arrested, and finally he admitted to killing and assassinating over 25 people in our county at the hands of the cartel. We just unraveled a cartel in our county, dismantling that cartel. The people in that cartel that we arrested openly admitted that within the last 3 years, it's easier now to move human beings, drugs, guns, fentanyl most specifically, across the border, and that it's easier now than in the history of their cartel. I can tell you, because of the Biden and Harris administration, law enforcement resources are quickly depleted. We have victim after victim that we see, as you'll hear today, and that these stories are not unfamiliar to law enforcement up and down the state of California.